Okay, so now we're going to start assembly. So on the gas body here, this small threaded ring has got to go down in here like so. That leaves a small gap in the bottom for this O-ring to fit underneath it. 1/4 inch O-ring, outer diameter O-ring will go into this 1/4 inch hole. Before the O-ring goes in, I'll install this using a little Loctite 620 retaining compound. I'm going to start by cleaning these parts up with some acetone. Make sure there's no oil on them, so the Loctite will stick good. This Loctite 542, or this Loctite 620 is a retaining compound, often used for holding bushings and bearings. You can even have a slip fit on with this retaining compound. Up to, I believe, 5 thousandths it'll fill up. But as you know, this is about a 1 thou difference here. So I'll insert that in there and give it a half turn. Wipe off any excess. Now I'll go let this sit and cure. Now I've already Loctited the watch bushing with the 6 thousandths hole in the end of the jet here. I've Loctited the end of actually a hat pin into this air adjustment ring for a handle. Something else I've got to do is this metering jet needs to go into its knob. So same thing there. I'll clean these up with acetone, give them a little Loctite. Made this metering jet out of a piece of 1/8 stainless steel. Just marked out the length of the taper on the rod. Put this in my drill motor and started by holding it up against my grinding wheel until I got the taper in there. Then I smoothed it off my belt sander, and finally a polishing wheel. The same thing here. These parts will go together. 1/8 inch ream hole, so it's a pretty good fit. A little rotation. I'll let these pieces to set up as well. Okay, so that Loctite sets up some more. It's starting to set up, and while it sets up a little more, I'm working on a few other things. So this 90-degree tapered head, this 90-degree head, if you notice, I've added some chamfers to the edges just to fancy it up a little. Well, this has got the counter bore in the end of it. Got a piece of stainless steel screen that I punched out on my shim punch. That'll go on the end of this here with a flame holder. Should be a pretty snug fit. Be able to hold itself in place just with the snug fit. That's pretty good. A little wire hanging out the side there to trim off, but that'll provide a flame holder. The air and fuel mixture to come out and the flame to combust there. Of course, that'll fit on the end of this vertical tube with the Venturi in it, and that'll give us the 90-degree head. This Loctite starting to set up. I'm not going to assemble that for at least an hour. Make sure it's fully or it's partially cured. So got this body piece and the body tube. So the hole distance from this hole to the bottom of this body tube is just slightly longer than the distance from the hole in this to the bottom. So when I put it together and put this valve body through it, so I put this in here like so. And the valve body goes through this. The slight length difference, the inner piece will pull down against the outer piece and hold it all together. So I didn't put the gas jet in here yet because I want to be able to insert this valve body in there and line up this cross hole to where the hole where the gas jet will go. It's a pretty good snug fit. Not too far. I don't know if you see it in there, but now the cross hole in the valve body is now lined up with the vertical hole in the main body down there. Now when I put this all together and draw it down with a screw, that will pinch this together. Yeah, that's fairly tight. One last check so I can see the hole is lined up down the center of here. So now I've got to fish this little needle, this little gas jet down in there. Not going to put any sealer on this as long as I can get it to seat against the top of there. It should seal everything off. It's a little more difficult to do when you gotta try to stay on camera. Some bigger pliers in there. Maybe. Don't want it's just a number 2 thread. I don't want to tighten it too much, but I want to make sure it's also seated. I'm trying to be very gentle. Okay, that should be it. That should be that. Now the next piece to go on will be the Venturi piece. These are all good snug fits, so this should just go together with a slight press. All lined up. Give it a little squeeze. So it's just enough press to hold it all together. And now for this vertical piece. So I'm going to put it facing this way. I'm not going to Loctite anything together, so this should be able to move this later. You see that's a good snug fit. It shouldn't require any tools to put it together. I should be able to just push it with my press it with my hands here. Just like that. There we are. So then we'll have the horizontal flame on this one. Of course, you know we did forget something. Okay. This air control ring, very important detail. This needs to go down on here, something like that. This will allow to regulate how much air goes into the mixture. Now I can put this piece on. Okay, there it is. Everything seems to operate properly. The air control ring moves. It looks square. Just going to wait for the Loctite to finish setting up on here and on the threads. Then I'm going to fish this little O-ring down in there to seal off this metering needle. And we'll be ready to give it a try. Okay, I'm trying to finish this up in one take. You can see it run for the very first time. So, I'm going to get this O-ring seated down in the groove down there. See if I can do this without blocking the view too much. This is that 1/8 stainless steel rod that I made the needle valve out of. It's a little smaller. that O-ring to go into the groove. Okay, it appears to be in there. Okay, it's seated. Without being twisted. There it is. Okay, well that's seated in there. I'm going to give just a touch of oil on here. If I can to pump. There it is. A little bit of oil for the threads and some oil on that seal. Don't want too much on it. Put this in here. It's in the seal. It still threads in pretty good. I'm going to run this about all the way closed here. Open up the air about halfway. Now I've got a propane tank with a 10-pound regulator on it, variable regulator. Plug this in. Hose fits pretty good on the hose bar. Okay, I don't know if you'll be able to see this on camera or not, but it's a lighter. Turn the gas on, see what we got. There you go. I don't know if you can see that. You see that small flame there? Turn the air down, turn the air up. Turn the gas down a little bit. See that there? Seems to work pretty good. Might be kind of hard for you to see. Here's the just to prove that it's lit. Here's the ends of a rag. So it is lit. So there it is. We'll use that to run some engines. I hope you enjoyed this series. Maybe learned some things, and hope this inspires you to take on some projects of your own. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next project.